T-6 Texans, as they were known in Army Air Corps service. The Navy Marine Corps called them the SNJ, and they're going to continue to work their way up to altitude. You may notice we do thank you for being with us today, and we of course want to make sure that as we prepare to take things all the way through here this evening. So right now, as I mentioned, you may have noticed a lot of the crash fire rescue vehicles working their way out. And I don't have a whole lot of information for you yet. We're continuing to grab that, but we are going to work to respond to that. And because they have to work their way off station, it's going to require us to put back into position. So that's what's going on. I wish I had a little more info for you, but we're going to continue to let that happen because often there are instances in this world that take a little more precedence than our entertainment here tonight. So again, it's something we did not anticipate on having happen. However, it is something that we have trained for, and all of the right procedures are in effect. So we're going to hang tight for just a little bit. We're going to keep you updated as we go and let you know how things will progress as we take just a quick intermission. So again, appreciate your patience, appreciate your attendance with us today. We'll be back with more in just a bit. Seriously. And on top of those requirements I was telling you about, those emergency professionals also go through a full extraction brief on each type of aircraft participating. So all the crews have the information available to them in the rare case that something does go a bit astray or they need to get a pilot or an aircrew to safety. Of course, safety a huge priority for us. Our parent organization, the International Council of Air Shows, has worked hard to increase our air show safety for all and to formalize the way that we tend to go. Yay! There's the two-ship formation of Bird Thunder Air Show team. They are going to be part of our shows out our evening. Very talented group of aviators. Chris Thomas, his call sign is CT, and Mike Eberhardt flies the number 2 position. His call sign is Buick. They both have been flying for over 40 years. They've accumulated several thousand hours of flying time, and they are going to set up into the downwind leg of the landing pattern and recover out there in these North American advanced trainers of World War II. These airplanes, built in 1942 and 1943 respectively, they are now over 80 years old, but are cared for in a great way. And depending on whose history book, somewhere in the neighborhood from 8 to, no kidding, 22,000 of these advanced trainers were built. It was at that time that America did what it needed to do to get things done, and record keeping was a little all over the place. So depending on whose history book you reference, some pretty amazing numbers. Today there are several hundred of these North American trainers still flying in North America. These are just a handful, and we'll also be joining our Jersey Jerks team later on as flying examples of these very iconic World War II aircraft. we have just a couple of moments before we get things back underway. And while we have just a few minutes, I'd like to give you just a little idea and explain to you a bit about our aerobatic box, our aerial stage out. And here this weekend at the Greenwood Lake Airport, we have this aerobatic box. Stretches, in fact, 3,000 feet long, 1,200 feet wide, and goes all the way up to right under 3,000 feet, and it is in this giant cube of airspace, if you will, that our pilots can do what they do best: fly fast, fly aerobatically, fly upside down, and do things that on a normal day would, well, probably get them in a whole lot of trouble. But it is inside this waivered airspace. They waive federal regulations to make it happen. They're able to do so safely and legally, and it's further encompassed by something that we call in the aviation world as a temporary flight restriction, or TFR. It encompasses the 3 nautical mile radius from the center of our aerobatic box all the way up from the surface of the ground up to about 3,000 feet. All of that space is controlled by our air boss, the individual whose job is to keep the airplanes separated, sequenced, choreographed, and the show together. And as part of that aerobatic box that we were telling you about, we're required by the FAA, in order to have a 60-second response time anywhere within inside that cube of airspace we were telling you about. So again, that's the reason why we've got to put a hold on things, since we had the crash fire rescue guys go respond just a little bit ago. But I do want to let that we have all the intention of continuing to get these players back where they need to be, and we'll be off and underway. Lots of flying to come tonight, of course, taking us all the way through about 9:40 or so with our full night air show, some twilight flying right at sunset. That's truly spectacular, and taking us all the way through our full night show and our full night extravaganza featuring, well, maybe some of those pesky aliens they keep talking about. These alien drones, it's apparently a New Jersey thing. It's been all over the news, but we're going to keep you apprised to that. But that's going to be all part of our night show that'll be taking us through the evening here as part of this Saturday at the 2026 New Jersey Air Show.